calcium.
Oh,
Thing.
cinnamon roll? Ooh, boy.
That's fair.
So this is your daily reminder to make sure you guys are taking your vitamins and your calcium. Be sure to jump into our link if you want a discount on ProCare vitamins and any other supplements they may have using code BME10. And Corby has himself a code himself. You want to shoot that out?
Yeah, so my code is Ryan. Last part of my name here. So all you got to do is put Ryan in. Things I advocate for are the ALA vitamin, the turmeric, the 50 billion CFUs. All of those things are really specific to either joint, gut digestion, or what I've learned with the ALA, that one is more so for cholesterol. So if you guys want to ever treat the things that are difficult in your body, look at those products.
Barry, cousin, I didn't mean to send you an invite. I just meant to click on your name and say hello and welcome to the live. My bad.
Sorry, I got a mouthful of stuff here.
It's all good.
Remember, you guys stay hydrated too.
Yeah, gotta stay hydrated.
I want to say I've been on a straight regimen of creatine for I think 2 months now.
I never got into the creatine piece. Is it like, how do you feel with it?
I feel like, so I think my recovery as far as like the way my muscles feel after a workout, like I feel like it doesn't take me as long, especially if I go hard so many days in a row. Mm-hmm. It definitely, there's a difference. And I notice that I don't cramp as much because I think one of the things that creatine does is that it adds fluid into your muscles and stuff. It retains some water in that. I used to get like really bad leg cramps in the middle of the night. And I noticed that after I do my workouts at night, I usually drink this after my workout, and I don't get the cramps I used to get before I was using it.
Okay. So everyone in the comments, if you get an opportunity, please share this live with at least 5 of your great friends. We'd like to have them come join us tonight. Topic for tonight is imposter syndrome. We'll be going down that path of imposter syndrome. Looking so forward to it.
Yeah. So I want you guys to realize we don't have like a clinical definition. I'm not coming in here with my therapist hat on to say, hey, this is the clinical in the DSM-5. There's not an actual definition of imposter syndrome.
What's up, Kayla?
But imposter syndrome, right? I need to give me one of those to switch on and be like, all right, this is advocacy. This is clinical. But no, we have signs and symptoms of what imposter syndrome looks like. There's a big difference between a symptom of a behavior versus a diagnosis, right? So a symptom could be that I don't feel like I'm adequate or good enough, or like even though I know I have the intelligence, I'm very self-conscious or doubtful that I'm capable of achieving, like the fear of success. All of those are all like within the line of what imposter syndrome is. So I want you guys to I think we're trying to get a collective idea of where has that shown up in our life, 1. 2, where has that shown up in the here and now? And 3, what are we willing to address it, or how have we been addressing it so that we're not always feeling that emotion at times?
And I want to know, like, in the comments.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people here, we post a lot of content and stuff. And, do you, like, after we start talking about it, see if this resonates with you and see if you could relate to it in the way you present yourself within this community yourself. Because I think in some way, shape, or form that I feel like that we may feel like this without even realizing it.
So, and that can come from even like receiving a negative comment and going through a spiral like you're not doing enough. Or like whatever that comment is, it affects your mood and you feel like why do I feel that they're right? Right? And they have no validity. It's just the fact of you're now pondering what made them say that, why do I feel this way, and then you're like challenging your whole identity based on a comment someone said, and there's no truth to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious as to know if anyone in the comments might know or have a definition of what imposter syndrome means to them if they experience it, so on and so forth.
So I'm going to give an example, and this will help with because this made me think about it, and this one example has made me think about what imposter syndrome means to me as far as like what I've experienced myself. And we had one of our first, I'm not quite sure if it was one of our first, but I know it was right when we first started doing Bari Mail Experience. We had the Bari Nation episode, and we had Jason Smith up.
Yeah.
And he gave us the example of him representing a community and a platform, and he had put on some weight, and he felt like he was an imposter because he felt that he wasn't living up to the image of what he was representing, and he felt guilty towards that. And like it gave, like, I never really thought about it. And I think, at least for myself, and Rab, I don't know if you feel that way. Corby, I know that, pretty much you have just started really becoming visible, within the BME like umbrella. But again, this platform itself and what we try to represent, the way we've evolved since day one, just trying to be a space for men and trying to represent, a platform in a respectable way, in a professional way, and trying just to, push out content that resonates with them. And I mean, I know that I deal with certain things with body dysmorphia, and I never feel like am I really like doing enough to represent myself? Like I'm like trying to be the perfect bariatric patient, and that feeling of guilt of like, what? How can I sit in front of people and tell them to go, to seek out therapy when I haven't, like when I was going through my whole thing, when I hadn't even gone and seen my own therapist, for like 6 or 7 months, and I hadn't even realized it. It's those little flaws that I was picking at myself, going, how can I sit here and talk on a platform every week, or to put out content, and I don't feel adequate, like I'm representing the brand in the right way and not living up to the image, or trying to uphold the image that we're trying to portray, and not giving myself, again, enough grace, saying that, what, none of us are perfect in this journey. We all have struggles. Again, you and IRAB, we said it from the beginning that we were going to learn. We were very early in our journey. We were going to learn with everyone else as we navigated this platform and our own journeys.
Yeah.
I think we've realized that, there are times that we struggle, especially when we try to represent, a certain image and try to be leaders within the community, and not to portray the struggles that we have. And a lot of that stuff happens in the background that people don't see.
Well, I like what Shelly just said. She said it a little earlier ago. It's like, one, it's like maybe the lack of the confidence on believing what you say at times. Like you're saying these things, right? But do you feel confident that it's right? Or it makes you question as if you're saying it the right way or the perfect way. This is maybe why like the idea of perfectionism is a part of imposter syndrome. When you're not perfect, you feel like you're not doing good enough, right? Or even the fact of when we tell our stories, right, about our personal experience, it's this concept of, oh wait, Like, am I telling my story and like, does it sound like, why does my story have to sound believable if it's my story? Right, right? Like it's my truth, but then I start to question my truth based on the experience or the response I receive, and now I'm giving my story the narrative to other people and not believing my own words. And
Hmm.
there's that loss of connection, right? It's like I'll give you guys a perfect example of what I've experienced, just from my experience. I want to say about 2, 3 years ago, when I was in my greatest stride of my story, right, and I was really going through, like, I'm posting every day. I was doing this on Instagram. I'm posting every day. I'm making quotes and stories. I'm showing my progress, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, you lost that weight, but it was just because of that surgery, right?"
Hmm.
And the thing was like I had to, like, I went and made a 4 minute post defending what I'm doing, right? And I'm like, wow, I gave that person power of my own story because I'm trying to defend something that is my accuracy of my truth, right? Like, yeah, I had the surgery, right? But why do I have to defend my surgery if that's my story? That's part of my story. It's not the whole total. Like, again, as much as we reference the surgery as a tool, right? There's other pieces that are factors to that tool, such as the individual's person's willpower, the individual's person's ability to show up for themselves, the individual purpose for someone to actually do something about the thing that they say they're going to do, and not let just the tool be the thing. So that's why I'm saying, like, I gave power to that person and not myself. That's where I lack my own voice in that moment, and I realized, like, I can't keep giving people my voice if I think I'm going to be stronger than what people perceive of my voice. There are going to be people who don't like that, and and that's the thing. Like, it's okay to be okay with you. It's not okay to prove that you're a good person or your story is quality matters to where people have to care about it. It's yours.
Yeah.
Now I wonder, and I have a question for you two, and also those of you in the comments. Is do you think that there is a difference between, and if there is a difference, what is it between imposter syndrome and just having a healthy self doubt?
Well, yeah, there's a healthy self doubt when you know you might not be giving it your all, right? So, for instance, if you wake up and you say you're going to go to the gym, you actually speak, I'm going to go to the gym today. 4 hours pass, you find an excuse or a reason not to go to the gym. Another 4 hours pass, you don't go to. So now your excuse has been the story, and now you're lacking the confidence because your word is in your bond. That's real. Like, people do that, right? If you speak something and you don't follow through with it, it's the concept of, am I lying to myself?
Versus actually, pushing yourself to do more, but never feeling like you're never doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Rab, I know that you and I, especially early on when we started this, is that it was just like, I'm not doing enough of this. You're carrying the weight of this. And we would go back and forth over, like, I feel like I'm not doing enough, you're doing too much, I'm not giving you enough support. And it happens. And it's like, it's that feeling of inadequacy, of not being enough, and not feeling like you're pulling your weight, trying to represent, and feeling like you're trying to be a hero to things, like you just, oh, I didn't do enough, I should have done this. It's a hard line to, like, try to line up to, and just trying to, in your head you have this perspective and you have this image of, like, what you should be doing and what you want to represent, and you can never live up to that image because you've put yourself, at a certain, in a certain light that you almost can't, you're never going to reach.
Mm-hmm. And I like why you said that, because what you're setting yourself up to say is we have a voice of an expectation that we haven't met, and then when we feel our actions don't meet that expectation, we then have self doubt of if we're doing enough. Right. So I let my anxiety of what I think things should be like versus what they actually be like, and I'm avoiding living in the present, and I'm letting the future version of myself win the battle of me being authentic to me. Right? I'm like future tripping on this idea of like I should be further, and I've done that. Like I'd be like, even like anybody ever notice on the scale, they'd be like, oh man, I feel like I should be further on the scale. When reality is you're doing everything you can to do better. So if you felt better, why does the scale have to measure you now? Right?
Now, do you? For my question for you, only because I want your opinion on this, Corby, is do you feel that like mindset of your past self, like had that person that always doubted what you were capable of doing? Do you think that creeps in on everything that you try to work towards? Because now you're like you're goal oriented. You have things that you want to do. There's things that you want to achieve, but then that doubt sets in again. Like, how much do you think is predisposition, like of that original mindset that you just haven't worked past?
Yeah. So I believe yes. So I believe that yes, that's a part of it. It's like the complex. It's called CPDD or CPTSD, complex post traumatic trauma. So you're you're still listening to the voices or the experiences you've had in the past to be the reflection of how you should operate in the here and now. So, for instance, if you're losing weight, right, that's one part of the journey, right? But your traumas and your responses to your traumas are still there. You can't go to food, right, because you realize you don't want to throw up, you don't want to get sick, you want to fail this part because there'll be another feeling of feeling like a failure, right? Failure. So then you sit with the thoughts that make you anxious and overwhelmed and frustrated solely based on what you think you should be like, what you think you should like. And again, there's no real version of what you're thinking as a reality, because in the right now, you're not giving yourself the grace to say that you are doing, right? Um, how can I put it in a there was a way I put it today for clients. Because I talked about this even yesterday. I asked the question like, how do you feel like you're living, and how do you nurture that feeling, right? So if you acknowledge your entire life, or not your entire life, in the here and now, that you feel like you're living and you're doing all the things that make you feel alive, right? But you have no way of nurturing the growth of that feeling, you will go back to what's been comfortable because you haven't explored other options of the growth of the new version of yourself. Like, for instance, Tony, you feel better now, right? Like, do you feel better about yourself?
In what manner?
See, there's this. Okay. So this is beautiful. You've now set up a version of yourself that you doubted, that there is a version of you that you don't feel like you're doing better. Talk to me about that version. What's that version that you feel that you're not doing better on?
I'm not comfortable with and I'm not comfortable with what I have put out into this community. I feel like I have, especially as of late, that I haven't pushed out the message that I wanted to push out, that I was early on when I first came onto this platform. I feel like
Okay.
I'm not doing enough.
So here's my question. Did you quit?
No.
No, you haven't quit. So what is your reference point of doing enough?
I feel that my routine is different because I'm not like I've lived. I'm trying to find what I want to portray as far as like I used to walk those stairs every single day. I used to do all those daily water reminders, to everyone. And now I'm put into a position because of where I work now that I cannot do those same things. So now I'm kind of almost trying to find myself in what I want to put out there. So I'm lost in this.
So you're not lost, you're just exploring. See, that's the thing. Like, look at how you negatively reframed it in such a bad way that you're setting the tone for self-doubt of being an imposter as if you're not doing enough. But reality is this: you've shifted the situation from what you were capable of doing based on the position or job that you're at to do the stairs and do the waters, and now you're exploring other options, right? Maybe you should go ahead and instead of doing the concept of walking the stairs, you can do the walk before work or walking to the job and say, hey, water check. Like there's so many options of exploration so that this self-sabotage concept doesn't come into play. But yet we moderate this self-sabotage because we're not being consistent with the thing that felt familiar.
Yeah.
And the familiarity of what made you feel good isn't there. So now it's the idea of I question myself as if I'm not doing enough. But then the key point is you are questioning yourself for the curiosity to try to do something different. That means you haven't given up on what you said you're going to do. That's the beauty of changing the narrative of that. Sorry, I got on my soapbox for a bit. But like this is I get passionate about this, bro. Like this is I like
No.
reframing the narratives for people because like we get so stuck in a thought and then from there you go from that thought to the next worst thought to the next worst thought. And it's like instead of building the tree up, you're breaking it down to where it dies. Right? It's a slow death because your thoughts create the death for the reality of the truth of of what you think is reality, but it's not. The truth is I've hit a plateau of what I was consistently doing, and because the familiarity makes you feel good, it and you don't have that familiarity anymore, it's a struggle to build it up again. Because now you have to grow a new tree with different branches, with different expectations, with different realities, but you're still willing to plant the seed because they still show up to the process and you haven't given up on that process.
I like that. That's given me some new perspective to think about.
I'm glad. I'm happy for that. That's and again, as again, I'm going my therapy hat. As a therapist, that's all I ask for in people in life is just pushing the pin over just a milliliter. I don't need you to go full tilt, just a little bit, because that little bit, that part right there, gives you enough strength to try to question your entire thought process to grow it instead of kill it.
Man, I'm sitting here listening to you all talk, and I'm reading the comments, and I'm like, I see a lot of, this is your own story. You create your own story. Basically, who the heck cares about what people think? This is your story. This is how you write it. You're the author. You're the artist. I see it. I get it. I understand that. But when you put yourself in a situation, whether you be a school teacher or someone who works as casework or child care or even a therapist, or we can even go as far as, being a co-host of the Barry Mel Experience. Um, what about those traumas, right? The traumas, not that were done onto you. I'm not speaking about those traumas. I'm thinking about the decisions that you've made in the past that resulted negatively in your life, and you just can't let go of it. And because of that and those experiences, it's hard for you to accept being accepted. Imposter syndrome.
Okay.
That for me, speaking for me personally, what I bring to the platform, it's great. It's awesome. You know, we're sharing our experiences. We're standing up for men. We're giving them a space and a platform to share, you know, what it is that they're going through. But at the same time, I feel held back a little bit because of the things that I've done, the decisions that I've made that don't give me enough strength or credibility to myself to allow myself comfort in giving 100% to the platform because of my decisions that I've made. Imposter syndrome.
Can I ask you this? Who do you give credit to with the efforts you do now?
I have to give those credits to myself for sure.
Okay.
So is it? It's hard to allow myself to feel deserving and happy and accepting that from people because of what I've done and the decisions that I've made.
Okay, so this is the thing. I didn't give you credit just now. You know,
Right.
you just said it, right? You just said I have to give myself credit.
No, I don't allow myself to give myself credit. The only credit that I receive is when I share, you know, like even in content, if I'm in content and I share with people how I feel about certain situations and, you know, I'm doing the whole Debbie Downer thing and I'm upset with decisions that I've made. And I don't feel like I'm giving 100% to the platform like Tony was talking about because I don't feel like I deserve it. Yeah, regardless of what anyone says to me, because
Okay.
of the things that I've done, the decisions that I've made in the past, the things I can't let go of.
Okay, you don't feel you deserve something you're willing to fight for. That you've shown that you're willing to fight for, correct?
And that you've shown up for.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
damn
Like
it. I tried.
See, I love how you tried this. Like it's
I
not gonna
tried.
work.
I'm trying.
It's not gonna work because guess what? You cannot deep down inside, you cannot challenge your truth by doubting something that you're actually doing. Like you're like you telling yourself you're not doing good enough. I want you to measure it. What is the not doing good enough? And then what are you doing that is good enough and compare the two. And if you're actually adding to I'm doing good enough part over the I'm not doing good enough, then you're telling me that you're catching up to what you think you're not doing good enough to then surpass it one day.
Well, how about the things? Yeah, thanks, Shelley. But how about the things that you've done that sit with you that you can't get past to help you feel better about who you are and what you're doing and how you're being accepted?
Say I'm sorry. Say
I
I'm
just
sorry.
feel, I
No,
know.
no. Don't overthink it. Stop getting your head. Say I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So you ought to put the
Just
mask
like
on.
you
Okay.
be.
No, I mean, I can't say I'm sorry to the people I've made those decisions. You know
You
what I'm
don't
saying?
have to say it to them.
Right.
Because my thing is this: saying I'm sorry to people is just getting the validation if they accept it or not, right? But the apology is for you,
Yeah.
not them. You feel bad, right? You're the one who continues to carry the weight of that feeling, right?
Mm.
Most of them are still living their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like you're the one who's carrying that burden. So this is where like when people are saying giving yourself that grace, apologizing to yourself and saying I'm sorry, right, might seem like a very trivial thing to do, but it's not necessarily the feeling of just getting through it anymore. It's accepting that I can be sorry for what I did. I can also live a life that I don't have to keep on apologizing about the same thing.
Right.
Like you find yourself apologizing about the same thing because you keep on doing the same thing to yourself and nothing changed about it. So this is why it's hard to give yourself grace, because you feel like you keep on doing that same thing with no changes.
And those of you in the comments, I don't want to come across as like I'm being ignorant to the fact. I mean, this is totally, we're trying to, you know, I'm trying to bring light to all the different aspects of imposter syndrome. Like, the devil's advocate, like everything that possibly could come up, we're trying to like experience and cover. And if there's anything in the comments that you all want to share or add to that, we'll try to keep up with you, and we appreciate that. Also, thank you so much for the likes. We appreciate the 7,000 likes. If you all don't mind, please tap in and share. We got another a little bit over a half an hour to deep dive more into the imposter syndrome. Excuse me.
Amongst other things to talk about.
But what?
Amongst other things that we need to
Yeah.
talk about.
Amongst
How you
other
doing,
things
Dave?
we like to talk about. Welcome, Dave.
Dave, what's happening,
Um,
brother?
but yeah, halfway point. We'll just call it halfway point right now. If you like, Tony, what would you like to share at the halfway mark?
Well, definitely we're going to do another water check. I've been doing a water check for like the last every 30 seconds.
Yeah, water checks are good. Also, yeah, I'd like to while we're water checking, for all the males in the comments, or if any of the females know any males that are interested in attending the bariatric retreat in November, we got a fundraiser that's going on. You can find the link in the bio. Bari Male Experience, Bariatric Society, and Bari Nation have joined together to
Sponsor.
develop to sponsor a fundraiser, and put something together where we would match whatever funds we were able to raise, and so that we could send get a male a ticket to attend the bariatric retreat. I think we got it going on for another week after this
Mm-hmm.
week, then another week, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
if that's something you all could do and would like to help us raise, please don't hesitate to check out the link in the bio. And if you're a male that is interested in attending and going to the bariatric retreat, the application is also in the bio as well. So yeah,
But read the fine
definitely.
print.
Yeah, read the fine print for sure. Absolutely. Don't forget, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, join our sister chat, the VSG Bestie, with Talk Barry to Me. She's always got something good going on there, too. So, anything else you guys want to add?
So we are growing in our mental health shop talk. So we're now doing this every Tuesday, not every Tuesday, not every Monday, every 2 weeks
Every other
on
Monday.
a Monday, right? I got to get every 2 weeks on a Monday. We'll start off here on TikTok at 7 p.m. Central Time, and then we'll move at 7:30 p.m. Central Time to the Zoom session. It's a private session with just men talking about emotions, what's out there, and just like getting things off our chest. And we also have the Slack app that we have a chat for men, specifically on talking about mental health, our struggles, and just, you know, reaching out to the next brother to see how they're doing and checking up on them. I want to make a big impact and push for men to feel validated and heard, for men to be able to speak to each other, to be able to share what's going on and not isolate. I want men to feel like there's more to them than just being a provider financially in their own life or to the people around them, but just be able to emotionally be a provider to other people so that they can be more in touch with what's going on with themselves and have the self-awareness to grow. Right? This is not a competition. There's no man that's going to be better than another man, right? But it's the idea of allowing men to speak and have a voice, to feel heard and not feel marginalized and minimized by speaking on things that they feel have been scary to speak on, right? A concept would be like, hey, I got loose skin. I hate the way my fat flaps when I jog, right? That's a specific thing that men really don't be like, oh man, I'm in the gym. They'll speak on that, but they'll not speak on that insecurity feeling of like, this is uncomfortable to feel. I feel like when I feel that and I feel that flap going on, I don't feel like I can connect with people. So like there's where the discussions are happening with men on Slack and on the mental health shop talk and on the Berry Mail experience where the messages keep on growing and showing that if you want to feel heard and visible, you can share and get different perspectives from men.
And again, like in the more men we get into this community, the more chances that people are going to be able to resonate with each other. Because again, like the three of us, our story may not resonate with certain people. But the more men that come into this community, share their thoughts, share their struggles, share their victories, people can relate. More men will be able to relate with each other. And that's what we want. We want to build a community where people feel validated, they feel like they can relate. And, this is a brotherhood that we're trying to form. And we're trying to create this not only in a platform online, but again, this is why we want to bring out men out to the bariatric retreat. This is something that was very important to Bro. This is important to Jason Smith. Again, they were like two guys that were the only ones at the first bariatric retreat. We want to be able to bring as many guys to the bariatric retreat, let them know that there is a place for us to be able to hang out, relate with each other, have a good time. And, this is a brotherhood. And we want to be able to not only do this on an online platform, but do this in person. Because it really is a good time when, people can spend time together and have a really good time and do stuff and hang out.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to build community here.
Exactly.
Because Lord knows it's hard living in your head all day and thinking that you have to make sure everything gets done. I think I'll even segue this back into the imposter syndrome aspect. Is anybody start a new job and feel like they have to prove themselves to be the best worker? And then it's this concept, I'm the only one to get the job done. There's no one else out there to cover for me. I got to do that. There is screaming, I never thought I was good enough, so I had to prove it. Like that's that right there, right there.
Yeah.
I'm screaming like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough, but I'm gonna prove that I'm good enough because I'm just gonna bust my ass. And the
I think
element is,
in my head.
but that's real because then guess what? When you're doing all that and you then get burnt out, you realize that there's a level of expectation that you have to stay consistent with. Yep. And if you're inconsistent with it, that's where guess what? I'm not good enough comes into play.
Exactly.
Because I'm inconsistent because I started the race full speed, but I didn't know that it was going to be a marathon sprint.
Ready to conquer the world.
And that's why there's a lot of false starts in people's life because we go full tilt, full sprint, and we don't know how to keep our stride through that process. And that's where I'm saying, like, if you can't keep that stride through that process, then you'll lose sight that you were enough to begin with because you're the one who chose to be in the race.
Mm. And this goes back to making decisions that, people regret. I'm struggling with this new job because I went from knowing absolutely everything and teaching everyone what they needed to know. And I was the man with all the answers. to going to a new job and not knowing anything and starting from square one. Yet people come to me for answers. And now I need to search for those answers. Now I need to work differently and work smarter and not harder. And it's a struggle because it's an adjustment, and it's hard not to feel confident in what you're doing when you left a situation where pretty much people could throw whatever they wanted at you and you could be able to help them or give them an answer on everything that they needed.
So how are you managing that?
Day by day. It's the only way I can do it. I have my good days, I have my bad days. And it can be overwhelming at times, but then there are times when I feel good about what I've done, over the course of the day, and I can feel better when I get home. I think you guys see it every day. We're in contact all the time. There are days where I'm just, you guys can see it. We talk, we discuss things. I know you guys the other day were like, how you doing? And I'm like, fine. And that's the only answer I'm going to give you, because I'm just processing things in my head, working things through. I know if I can go work out or something, I can pretty much get it out of my system and just be like, okay, I'm ready to start. Tomorrow's a new day, and it's another challenge. It's a new challenge. But again, I have my good days, I have my bad days.
And I don't want us to be defeated by a bad day.
No, and you can't, because, again, I made the decision to make that change. And I have to live with that decision. Do I quit? Do I run away? No. I told him I want to face challenges head on. So how big of a hypocrite am I where I'm saying, you know what, I give up. I want to go back to what I was doing before. Why do that? I know what I need to do. I know it's going to take time. It's the challenge. And I know a year from now, when I get through all those challenges and I get that operation running to where I want it to be and where I need it to be, I have something I can be proud of. It's nothing that I haven't done in the past.
Oh, this is my thing. Look what you just said. I gave myself a year to get it, and that's good, because now you have a goal set in mind, right? Even though you might have bad days, you can then, and this is how, like, I guess this is where people do KPIs, which is like key performance information or whatever. You can now check where you progress, where you struggle with, where you can grow from, right? Because you're measuring the amount of effort you're putting in daily or on a consistent basis, and seeing where do you weather the storm, right? I know for key performance indicators, yeah. You measure your storm. I do that with my job, right? There'll be times where we might not have a lot of clients, and now I got to wonder, why don't we have a lot of clients at the facility? And I had to go, okay, is this tax time and people just want to blow their check before they come in the facility? Like, these are the things that I have to go and in my metrics to visualize, why is there ebb and flow? And if I see that there's a ability to work on that marker, this is where I give it more nurturing and caring to fix or correct it, versus the idea of like, this has just been a pattern, just accept it. Right. You have to give yourself a year to see how you can make the optics work for you, so that you can make it streamlined to where you want to take it.
Yep.
So is it safe to say that imposter syndrome is what prevents confidence?
I'll give you that. I'll say that imposter syndrome definitely is avoiding the confidence or the level of intellect you have to be confident, because you're always second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
It's like a athlete who tore their ACL and is avoidant on putting full pressure on their knee because they're afraid of hurting it again.
Like Kevin Garnett.
And then which leads me to the next thought, I'm thinking out loud. That's why this this platform, this bariatric community helps people so much because they don't have the confidence in the real world that they're receiving here on this platform, and it kind of medicates that imposter syndrome briefly. Would that be safe to say? And these questions aren't for Ryan specifically. I mean, he gives the expert thought in his experiences. I mean, this is me thinking out loud. So those of you in the comments, hey, please don't hesitate. We're seeing your comments. So
I think part of it is the support that becomes medication, so that you don't feel like um, you're not doing enough. So this is where like a lot of people come into the bariatric community and they like, man, I'm stalled, right? So think about it. Oh, I'm stalled. Cool. They've identified where they feel like they've lacked confidence because they saw the scale not going further. Then they go and communicate with other people about how they struggle with stalls. And from there, these people then share their version or their viewpoint of it. And now it gives them reassurance that you're not alone. One, two, that you can get past this, right? And then you get tips and tricks and trades of it. So now you have the ability to feel like, oh, I got some tools in my toolkit to now use to apply of where I lack the confidence at.
mm,
And all we do is hand down experiences to each other. And it's just a regenerative thing, you know, it to the next group that comes into the community. And that's what we do, is that we feed into each other. So the people that fed into myself and the people I feed into, and now the people that I fed into are now feeding into new people into the community. And that's what we do. We build people up. We help support them. And you know, it's every generation, and those generations are every like 3 to 6 months. But again, this is what we do, and this is how we build up the community, and this is, you know, how we create a platform or even a community that helps each other succeed and to be successful.
yeah, so I'm wondering what the fallback is on when you know, like say for instance, okay, you've been working on your imposter syndrome, you know, you're getting over the fact that, you know, I know I'm good enough. I can do this. You know, I know I can make this happen. I know I'm valid, this, that, and the other. And then you get, you know, you're really looking forward to something, and then you get kickback where someone makes you, like, say, for instance, you apply for a position. Say, for instance, my own position. In some states, it requires a degree. The state I'm in now, it requires a degree. Where I got my experience from, it didn't require a degree. So now I feel like I know I'm good enough, but I'm not because I don't have a degree.
Okay, so the measure is the education you have versus the years of experience, right?
Right.
Um, why would you leverage your education if you see where they desire the education and not go where your years of experiences are welcome?
Right.
You know, what door are you going to kick down that, you know, can utilize your talents?
Right. Because now I'm trying to prove myself to the educated people and the people who need the license or the bachelor's or whatever the fuck.
Mm,
To them, to prove that to them, for me to then feel valid to say that I'm enough. Reality is, if I go to the doors where I'm welcomed and accepted, why can't I be strong there?
right.
Like, I'm not gonna go to a gym full of guys who are like fully buff, right? And be like, I'm one of you guys, knowing I'm not. And and be like, accept me for who I am. I don't need their acceptance for me to feel that I'm okay.
Mm,
No, and you're
Like, I
not
think
supposed to
there
go where
becomes that
you're
problem.
appreciated.
Hmm. Go where you're appreciated. Go where you're welcome.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Like,
mean,
kick down doors when you have enough people around you that will kick with you.
yeah.
All right.
Again, it's that support, and people kick down the door in this community.
Yeah. What about this? Let's move more into like a weight loss scenario, the weight loss journey, right? What about and I don't know if this is going to be. What about body dysmorphia?
Well, body dysmorphia can come in two forms: either the comparison of other people or society's viewpoint of your body, or the comparison of your own self and feeling
Yeah,
like you're not good, right?
yeah, yeah.
So if you're battling you, right? If you're the one battling you with your body, right? Just like it was so hard to say I'm sorry to yourself, this is where you can say, "Hey, I accept myself." And again, it's not that easy. Yeah, you're gonna have to pretty much really learn to understand where I don't like my body, where I like my body, right, and where I want to grow with my body. Because again, the metamorphosis of your body is ever so changing, right? And also, here's another way to look at it. You can get in a fire and your whole body change, right? So now, here's the thing. If your whole body changes in a fire, right? Do you still lose your personality?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would think you might change a little bit because of the trauma that the burn has caused, you know. But
So, Rab, I want to give you an example of myself because, again, this is the easiest way I can do it and describe it. You know, I deal with the whole body dysmorphia thing. So, I did a post, what I say, about a month ago about my struggles with body dysmorphia, and I actually posted a picture, and this was a before and after of what I looked like the day before surgery, and then what I look like now. And you can see it, but I can see how good I look now compared to what I looked like back then. But how did I go back to feeling the same way? Like, why do I not feel confident? And this explains why a lot of my posts, especially like the one I did last night, where I posted all it is a flex photo. Why are all my pictures just from the chest up? Because I don't feel comfortable with the rest of me. I feel like when, the results that I'm seeing that I feel confident about and that I feel good about are, from how my chest is developing to my shoulders, my arms. But again, I carry all of that weight and the baggage around my waist. So again, who am I trying to represent? And where I get into my head about like what I'm trying to present, and trying to be confident when I'm not confident myself and I'm insecure about it.
yeah,
So how am I being authentic with my journey when I'm only posing and posting something that looks physically appealing when the rest of me I feel like is an absolute disaster? Again,
Okay,
and
so
I work through that all the time.
what version of yourself do you want to see? Like you're saying, your gut, your stomach?
Yeah, and I work on that every day. I
Okay,
can sit there and do all the crunches and the trunk twists, and it's. I know that the excess skin is always going to bother me there. I am going to end up having plastics. I've already told myself I'm going to do this, and I'm eligible for it. But it's me working through what I see in the mirror, what I see back at me. And Amber puts, I'm posting. Exactly, I'm posting. But I'm only posting certain things. there are days where I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to be completely clear about this, and I'm going to show you all of me. And that's where the struggle happens for me, is where I'm trying to present a certain image, and it's hard for me to post like all of me. And, there are days that I do it, and then there are most days it's hard. But again, it's I'm still posting. I'm still trying to work through it, and I know I'll get there one day. It's just a matter of that if I'm consistent with it. And again, I'm 17 months in. I have a long way to go. I'm still early in my journey. I have a lifetime to get to where I can become confident with what I look like fully. And again, I might remove the skin and I still feel the same way and never be satisfied. But again, this is what I have a lifetime to work on.
Yeah, Suzette said that some people even have plastics and it still doesn't solve it.
Yeah.
Because you find something else to nitpick, and that's what we do.
You pick at that flaw, and you just never live up to that image that you have in your head. And you feel that you don't represent what you want to portray. Again, and it's a lot of it's just a mental struggle. But again, if
Hey,
I'm with
sorry.
it, no, it's okay.
How often do you actually look in the mirror?
Every day.
Do you look at it without your shirt? Like, do you like actually look at your body and touch it and be like,
Yep.
my stomach? So it makes you real to you.
My wife yells at me for playing. Like, I grab my excess skin and I play with it.
Okay. Do you do that to? Okay. So here's one thing. You did identify.
Funny.
Okay.
I do it with my kids because, again, what do we do to make ourselves feel better? We make a joke of something.
Very true. We definitely use humor to go past something. You've identified what you're willing to do to fix it. So I think that's kind of something that you can give credit to.
Yeah.
But also, if you were to look at which feels better, loose skin or a bigger belly?
So this is very, very weird. So loose skin. So this summer, I felt less comfortable taking my shirt off than I did last summer when I was still another 50 to 60 pounds heavier.
Did you really?
Yeah. I took that shirt off. I was like, yeah, lost 100 pounds. Yeah. Look at me. I took my shirt off. I'm down in Florida. I'm feeling myself. This summer, I took my shirt off and I was like, all right, I've had it off long enough. And I put my shirt back on. Crazy to be like, because of the way it sinks in. Like it looks awkward. It looks weird. And it messes with my head.
I think it's because you've had more time to digest the uncomfortabilities of that. Because like, let's look at for the first in a year you lost 100 pounds, correct?
So, well, no, the first year so my first year basically it was $175. It was 175 pounds I lost altogether. Last summer, I think I was like 3-4 months in when I went down to Florida. So I'd lost about 100 pounds. It was like 98, 99 pounds, somewhere around there. So I went from like 425 to like 325, right around there.
And then that was the one you felt the most comfortable because you lost 100 pounds. But then you lost another 50 pounds or 75 pounds, and then you felt like you weren't attractive.
because the skin, the way the skin sat, it's not like my body like felt I was like filled out more, and now
Okay.
it's just really it's starting to sag and it looks awkward and
I think it's because you have more time to observe it. Because there's like, okay, so there's two ways you can look at it. When you were originally in the process of the losing weight, it's the dopamine effect of seeing that you are losing the weight. When you start noticing that the weight is gone and that it's not losing no more, now it's the confidence you have about the weight loss that you have to be in maintenance with
yeah,
versus right. Like, so basically, you have to make your confidence maintenance of accepting this is the new body, right? Because originally, when you keep on losing, like you're excited, like I'm willing to take off my shirt if I keep on losing.
yeah,
But now I have to accept, okay, my body has maybe plateaued, and now it's like I'm not getting the same dopamine effect. I'm not getting the same like rush of like, ooh, the scale says lower, or ooh, I look better. It's like this is my body. Now I have to love on you because you're now stuck with me.
yep,
Right. And I understand that piece because I'll say this, even me, I am 4 years out, and I realize that I would tell people, man, I lost 400 pounds, right? And now I look at my body, it's like, bro, it doesn't look like that. It don't look like that at all. And the reason I laugh at this now because I used to be so hyped and been telling people my 400-pound journey that I've lost, right? And now it's like I've maintained 400 pounds. I've told the story a million different times. Like, and there's not a concept of like, are you losing more weight? Because it's like, oh no, I'm kind of here. I've lost all the weight. Like I went to my doctor today, like, and he was like, look, you sustain keeping 438 pounds off for over 5 years total, he said. And I'm like, oh, like when you put it that way, it sounds amazing.
yep,
But when I look at what I'm feeling, when I look at what I look like, I'm like, it's not enough. I'm not where I'm not my final. I always posting after I do my workout. I'm not my final form yet, right? And the reality is true. I am not my final form, but I'm not my worst form anymore either. Uh, yeah.
it's hard because like when you stand up and you walk around, you're confident, the chest is out and everything, and then when you sit down, you look exactly like you used to.
Oh yeah, bro. This
It's
sucker here,
yeah,
bro.
exactly.
Like I got a fat suit on. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like I feel like Santa Claus sometimes.
So that messes with me a lot too. Is that it's just like like now that I'm not wearing scrubs and everything's like the shirt's hanging out. Nope, I gotta tuck my shirt in. I'm wearing a collared like polo, and I'm just
Wearing
like
compression pants and shorts and
exactly, but I'm still hanging over my belt, and it's like what the. And I'm like, I know if I just cut this all off, it's going to be a straight line. And I
is
don't
it?
see the straight line.
You ever do the thing where I'll be like,
Yes.
I move the whole part away to
Yeah.
see if it to see what it
You
would look
push it
like.
aside. You're like, oh, this is what it should look like.
This is how it should be. Oh crap, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
I give myself a butt lift in the mirror all the time.
oh man, I be doing it. I be like, mm, mm, this is the real body.
Exactly.
Oh man.
I finished doing. I'll finish doing like a bench press, and I'm sitting there like, oh yeah. I'm like, this is the muscle.
Sitting
Yeah,
there, it's there.
and like and the muscles here and the titty here. Muscle be all here strong, like oh I'm King
It'd
Kong.
be like stop
Booby
right
right
there, but
here.
really down there. Yeah, I feel
Bruh,
you on that one, brother.
that is but I love the fact that we can laugh at it.
Exactly.
because this is a beautiful thing. But yeah, it's weird.
Relatable. And
It's a
now I don't feel uncomfortable about it because I have someone to share the experience with.
Exactly. You want to close us out, Tony?
How would you like me to close this out? So don't forget that every other Monday there is a mental health shop talk with the men. We go a half hour on TikTok at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for all of us that are in the middle of the country. 6 p.m. Mountain and 5 p.m. Pacific. We go a half hour and then we go to a live Zoom for all the guys, and we are able to discuss a numerous amount of topics and how we are feeling, if we need to get things off our chest. If there is a particular topic that Corby has picked out for us, we could sit in there and talk about it. And everything that is discussed within that Zoom call stays within that Zoom call. So it is a safe space for us to be able to share that without the noise of social media around us. But we are live every Tuesday for BME. And again, that's the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to check out our sister chat, Talk Bari to Me, with VSG Bestie. She is live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. I wouldn't be right if I wasn't shouting out the rest of our friends out there. So Kate and Anna on every other Monday. And then Janae, Bree, and Kara are live, I believe, every other Wednesday when they can get on for the Bari Sisters. And they are live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific and 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
That's right.
I had to think about that one for a second going in.
Hey, I wanted to say we finally made it over 100 subscribers on our YouTube.
I saw that on YouTube.
So that was
Awesome.
amazing. That's a good feeling. So if those of you in the comments aren't following us on YouTube, subscribe. The link to the bio is in the bio.
1,800 followers here? We should have 1,800 followers on YouTube.
Yeah. That'd be
Very
nice.
Remember,
That would be
spread
nice.
that word. This is the platform that we are pushing towards. I think we're allowed a little bit more freedom on YT than we are allowed here. But we are live here every Tuesday for all of you and for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah, prize for number 1,000. Absolutely.
And don't forget that we are making a push for 100 men at Bariatric Retreat. We have we are trying to sponsor a bariatric male. We are trying to raise funds with the help of Bariatric Society and Bari Nation. And you can get all of those links in our bio. The application, if you're a bariatric male, and this doesn't matter if you've had bariatric surgery, if you have or if you're taking GLP-1, or if you are on a natural weight loss journey. Bariatrics, by definition, is anyone on a weight loss journey, and all are welcome. And we have an application in there for us to be able to. We are going to actually go through all of those applications, and then we are also taking donations. The link is in our bio as well. And we will match whatever the difference is to help pay for that ticket, to help that bariatric male come to retreat and join us in San Diego, November 7th through the 10th at Paradise Point Resort in San Diego, California. How's that?
I'm looking forward to it. Hey, if you all know anybody in the comments, if y'all anyone in the comments know another male that can use some support, hey, share the Slack that we have. It's free. Come join us on the platform that we have set up for any men that are interested in getting some type of support throughout the day. It's a great platform that Corby has set up for us to have a space outside of this TikTok space, to have someone to lean on and talk to along the way throughout the day is awesome. It's been very helpful. So
not all of us are on TikTok all the time, and to be outside of this space is it's a healthy thing for us. But there's still a place for us to be able to put down our thoughts, to reach out to another bariatric brother, and receive support. on a daily basis, or just to say, hey, you know what, you're there for someone else. And that's what it's about. It's not just about the three of us being up here, being there for everybody. While we still are, we want all of you to be there for each other. And that's what building this brotherhood is all about, is about being there for each other.
I just want to say, what are you going to say? I just want to say thank you guys. I love how we can be authentic, genuine, honest, have difficult conversations, right? And like come with some awareness out of it. Like this isn't a concept of where no one has a bigger voice than each other. Everyone has a shared voice in the matter. And this is what our community should be like. A community should be a shared voice of individuals willing to be their authentic self and given the opportunity to feel heard. All right.
100%.
100.